Wing Coaches Show. Today we've got Spirit Squad, led by head coach Kristen Freeman. Come on up. And joining her is Ayanna Strickland.
They said my name.
And from track and field, head coach Dr. Peter Ormsby, along with Karina Fiorucci and Cole Thomas. We'll go ahead and jump right in. Coach Ormsby, 2 meets in so far for the outdoor season, multiple event titles, had a new school record established this past weekend. Just what have you learned about this year's team, and obviously still early in the outdoor season, just thoughts on overall performance so far?
Performance has been hit and miss. Obviously it's super early coming off an indoor and kind of getting back in the groove of things. So we're just kind of learning where we are, what we need to do, where we can improve, and just it's a week in and week out process for the team.
And then for Cole, same question for you, just from a student athlete perspective. What have you learned about this team from the start of indoor season to now?
I think we have a really great team this year. I think that we are in the process of building. Obviously, indoor season went really good for a lot of people. We just came a little bit short at conference. And I think everyone's really working hard to not let that happen again. There's a lot of drive out at practice. Everyone's really motivated. So I think we're going to see that kind of pay off at outdoor season.
And then Karina, a similar question to you, but just from an individual perspective, what have you learned about yourself going back to last year to today?
I definitely think that there's still room for improvement. I think that last year it was a learning season, especially being a freshman. There's so many things that you don't know yet, like all new teams, all new people you're competing with. And then I think this year it's more getting comfortable and like just knowing that you have the team back.
And Coach Freeman, now with season down, what did you learn about your team throughout this year?
Coming off of last year, we were in a pretty much rebuilding season for both of our teams. Our dance team, we're still, building with them. But given the loss of some of our, members this year, and some of the things we had to go through, they came through a conference and did what I wanted them to do. They didn't, place necessarily where they wanted to be at, but my main goal was to, get there, fight through adversity, and work with what we had, and that's what they did. For our cheerleading team, we came from a season ending with 13 last year to ending our season with 20 this year. We had an outstanding performance in my personal opinion at conference, especially coming off one of the season we had prior. It was just a rough conference performance year before last. But we did come second in our division by 1.91 points. So I've learned about this team this season is that once they put their mind to something, they're going to try their best to reach their goal. They were very, very driven, and it was just a very refreshing season to have with all of my athletes because they all worked and put in the effort and wanted to be here and, went to conference and pretty much redeemed themselves from, the performance we had last year. So they're just a very resilient team, very talented, and I can't wait to see the growth that we're going to have on dance and cheer in the next couple of seasons.
And then Ayanna, just from your point of view as a team captain, what did you learn about this year's team?
From my point of view, I learned that as a team captain, it's really important to create a sense of unity, for them to know that as they have structure. It's really important to have structure and to know that if you bring it together, that they can create a sense of knowing to go into the season, to be together, and to work hard, especially compared to last year.
I'll go back to you, Coach. Had a national qualifier earlier this month for indoor with Mackay Hayes. Just what was that experience like from a track and field perspective, and then how cool was it to have swimming and wrestling there with you as part of the Winter Festival?
I think it was our first qualifier since like 22 or 23, so it's been a couple of years. Being a winter festival is super cool, especially when we were able to see events and sports that we don't typically see, because when we're competing, they're competing. So to see the wrestlers and Benedita swim a couple times, it was good when you can see good swimming, good wrestling, and good track all in the same weekend. It makes the week that we were there that much more enjoyable. And I know Mackay may have come out a little short on what he wanted to accomplish, but he was one of 2 freshmen in his event. So I think he was super hungry to get back, and he hasn't opened up outdoor yet. So he was ready to go back to practice the day after, but Coach Eddie's opened him up
Coach Freeman, your team got to make a big trip this last week down to Columbus for the men's basketball tournament. Their first Sweet 16 appearance. What was that experience like, just being able to be a part of that?
It was a good trip. First and foremost, like I said, our staff that went with us made it pretty seamless and easy. It was a long travel day, but the game in itself was just, it was really exciting. We were all into it, all hyped up, and unfortunately it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But it was a great showing. It was just, the crowd was in it. We had our signs and everybody was on their feet. The support for Pembroke was definitely there, and it was just nice to see that we can make it there, and we do have people coming from not only our school but the community and everywhere else to support. And the girls, I told them, this history is something hopefully you'll get to be a part of again, and but even if you're not, you can always say that was something that you got to experience as a member of the UNCP squad. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you again, Coach. Obviously, a lot of success over these last few years. Multiple runner-up finishes in both indoor and outdoor seasons. What's been the key to that success, and then what's the recipe for getting back on top where you want to be?
It's hard to imagine when the third place is like the worst you've had in 10 years. So to get back there, I think it's just, we're a super young team. The staff and I talked, Cole's probably one of the older KG veterans of the team. I know I got 3 distance kids that are seniors, and it's just a young group that needs to kind of find their own way. But I also attribute a lot of that to the staff. The staff is where a lot of this lies. Is I wouldn't be as successful without the staff that I've had over the past 10, almost 11 years now. So that's you have a good staff, and we're kind of understaffed based on some of the programs that we go up against. But we do hold our own, and it's all about the recruiting and everything that we're trying to do as one cohesive unit.
And for Cole, 2-time indoor pole vault champion, what's been the key to that success for you?
I would definitely say probably my biggest success has been my confidence over the years. Having come from being one of the first ever pole vaulters to win multiple titles for this team has been a huge thing. Honestly, for me, last year indoors, I competed with a stress fracture. Didn't compete about 3 weeks up to the competition. Just kind of went in and knew I had one job to do, and I needed to score points for the team. And that has just been my main goal. It's never really been about winning. It's been about scoring points. And this year, obviously, I fell a little bit short, got second place. In that, I got to have one of my teammates on the podium with me for the first time ever, and that was a huge success. We scored 19 points in the pole vault, and that is more than we've ever had in history. And that is just, I think that's the best part.
And Karina, indoor and outdoor conference champion last year, indoor champion again this year, school records. Obviously, you got to have some level of self-confidence to be successful. But did you actually envision having this much success so early in your career?
I definitely would say I did not envision any success on that level. I would say I'm not the most confident vaulter. That's definitely something I'm working on. My confidence is not really there. But I would say I definitely have coaches who support me and help build that confidence for me. And then it's always about something you're working on the jump. It's never going into the competition I'm gonna win. This is gonna be so great. It's always what can I fix? What can I make better? Just like that. So that's really what I try to focus on. Because if I focus on winning or trying to win, it just all goes downhill really quickly.
Coach Freeman, I kind of want to talk about behind the scenes. What's the tryout process like for you guys? And maybe what are a few characteristics you're looking for as you go throughout that process?
Our tryout process is a one-day tryout is what you would call it. We start in the morning, they learn different materials, and then we look at their tumbling, their jumps, stunts, turns, all the technical things. We expect them to learn that material and perform it in front of a panel of judges. They get scored, and we pretty much look at our scores and choose our team from there. We are looking for our skill set to be a little bit higher this year than what we've been getting in the past couple of years, just considering that our teams are growing on skill levels. So not only do we want that skill set already coming in, we're looking for people that want to be here, want to work hard, want to support their school. support each other and are honestly at the end of the day trying to win a conference championship, and that's the mindset that we're looking for right now.
And for Ayanna, just can you take us through like a typical practice and what goes into creating a routine and stuff like that?
So our typical practice every day usually starts with a warm-up. We usually go through stretches and things like that. If there's something that we need to talk about from the day before, usually during the game or something like that, just to get our mindset where it needs to be for practices or for a game. Especially during competition season, it's really important that everybody's mindset is where it needs to be. For competition to create a routine, there's different components that you have to think about. You have to think about jumps, you have to think about stunts. There's different types of stunts. You have baskets, you have pyramids, you have elite stunts. There's different kind of individual stunts you can do incorporated. You have tumbling. There's also dance. Coach, she works from backwards to forwards. And then by the end of the routine, we usually do it piece by piece. And by the end, we do full outs. So that's where you do the routine full out, you do everything together, and if something doesn't hit, we have to keep doing it over and over again until everything hits.
I'll start with you, Coach. I know y'all do a lot just outside of game days. Can you talk to us a little bit about what your team does to give back to the community?
Our main thing we do along with everybody else is, we do raise buddies, but we also are involved in, I don't know if this gets back to communities, but without in campus, we are, asked to perform at a lot of things. We go to a lot of different events. We attend parades. I get special requests for sometimes girls. One year we did like an Operation Prom. That was a couple years ago where they went and tried on the dresses and modeled them. So the girls that were coming in trying to get them had a visual or whatever. But pretty much anything dealing with schools, we go and perform at pit rallies, EOG, just that type of thing. Just kind of getting the community excited about whatever event we're supporting at the time. But we do participate in fundraisers within the school and just those types of things. And anything that anybody asks us to do, most of the time we will show up and we will support whatever they're trying to get out there, especially when it comes to our younger girls, dance teams, cheerleading teams. That's something that we really do like to get involved with within the community. And the last thing I want to say, we went and worked with Pembroke Middle this year and did their cheerleading routine for them. They ended up winning the fair competition, so that was this great giant thing for them. Some of them were like, oh my God, I want to cheer in college. So that's our main goal, is to kind of keep that flame burning of wanting to keep participating, not only cheerleading and dance, but whatever you're involved in.
Back to Ayanna, just how rewarding is it to get out in the community and work with those kids and hopefully inspire the next generation of cheerleaders?
It's very rewarding to work with the younger generation. Me personally, I coach a dance team, so it's very rewarding to see the impact that you can make on the younger generation, to create confidence to them to want to work at the collegiate level. Because most kids in our community, they don't know what it's like. They don't know people that compete or cheer or dance at the collegiate level. So for them to know people in the community who could work with them to create that skill level and to increase their skill, and to know that they have the ability to want to do that in the future, it really makes a huge impact.
Then go down to Karina. Just what was the recruiting process like for you, and what ultimately led you to Pembroke?
I would say I had a very unconventional recruiting process. I was originally actually going to quit pole vault. My senior year, it went really badly, and so I decided I hated the sport and I wanted to quit. So I was just going to attend one of the local universities in Florida, and all of a sudden, midway through summer, I was talking to Cole, and I was like, you know what? I really do miss pole vaulting, actually. And so then he was like, well, you know what? You should just come to Pembroke. And I was like, no, it's it's July. I can't do that. It's too late. And he's like, no, I'll text Eddie. And so he reached out to Eddie. It was the week after 4th of July, and asked if he would have a spot on this year for me. And so then Eddie and I got to talking, and I basically did all the paperwork and had to back out of like my apartment for my other school and like text the girl like, hey, I'm so sorry, like I actually won't be coming here. And like I attended like the very last like orientation date and everything. Like everything was super last minute, which is not me. So it was really stressful. But then like by like August 1st, I like had all the paperwork signed and was like ready to go. And then just moved to Pembroke. And honestly, I'm so glad I made that decision and decided not to quit football because I love the sport way too much to do that.
And then same question for Cole. Just what was the process like for you, and then what made you end up at UNCP?
So being a senior now, I'm a COVID product. So during the time, obviously there was not a lot of recruiting going on. We were pretty shut down. Coach O is a close family friend of ours, and my brother was previously a student athlete here at UNCP. So we made that connection kind of early on in my senior year, and I came up here for a visit kind of right around June, and I immediately clicked with the team. These guys have become like my brothers, and it was immediately a yes for me. I just knew that this was the place I needed to be, and I've had a lot of success here, and I think it's probably one of the best things for me.
Kick it, Coach O. Just what have these two meant to you and your program?
The only thing they're missing is rings. That's it. Like they've got the conference, they've got the individual titles. We're just looking for the team stuff to kind of solidify things. So it's just been really nice for, like Cole said, to score 19 points in pole vault, something we've never done, or to have a two-time conference champion in Korea. So like just to bring that prowess to one event that we haven't had since I've been here has been really nice.
And Ayana, did you always know you wanted to cheer at the collegiate level, and what ultimately led you to Pembroke?
So I actually did not always know that I wanted to cheer at the collegiate level. Initially, I had made up my mind that I was going to stop at high school level. I cheered from elementary all the way up to high school because I didn't really know many people that cheered at the collegiate level. Most people hadn't really encouraged me to cheer up to the collegiate level, and it actually took Coach coming to Pernell Sweat to encourage me to cheer at the collegiate level, and that's what changed my mind and persuaded me to cheer.
And Coach, just what has she meant to you and your program?
I've seen Ariana for a few years. She's, like she said, she went to Pernell Sweat, and that's my, I guess you could call it alma mater. It's where I went to high school. I used to coach there too. I think I remember her from middle school as well. I'm not really for sure. But I just looked at her in high school, and I was like, you're going to waste your talents if you stop now. You just need to come, you need to do it, and it's going to be different, but you're going to enjoy it. But for our program, she is a sophomore, so she is on the younger side, but she's a captain this year, and I put a lot of, we unfortunately had a captain quit the team, so I had to have somebody, and I threw her in there, and like one day I was like, well, you're a captain now, so, let's just go with it. But she's done everything she needs to do. She's pretty much a model athlete, grades-wise, as well as being on the team, and you would never know that she is a sophomore. She takes things very serious. She, comes to practice, she does what she needs to do. She gets the team in line. She's pretty honest with the team as well, and I will go long enough to say that she reminds me of myself to a certain extent because of the way she handles things at practice. And I'm excited to see, and hopefully, I have no doubt she'll be with us for the next 2 years, but I'm excited to see where she's going to be at as a senior because I think her and her teammates are going to be just on a lot higher level than they're on now, and it's exciting to know that they're excited for it, as well as having a captain that pushes them to be better even when they don't want to be.
I'll go back to you, Ayana. Just tell us a little bit about your sports background growing up. Was it always cheer, or did you play any other sports?
It was always cheer. I've always just known it was cheer. Actually, I think when I was I think it was maybe 2nd or 3rd grade, I tried out for a travel team with Coach Chris, and I quit because I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And a couple of years later, I said, okay, I'm gonna try it out again. And I think it was like fifth grade. I went straight into it, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna just stick with it. And ever since then, it's always been cheer. I've been very passionate about it. I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
And then, Cole, what was your sports background growing up? Was it any other sports, or was it always just track?
So I would say that I was destined to be a track and field athlete. My whole family, track and field athletes, both brother and sister, college track and field athletes. The only difference was they were distance runners. So I kind of actually grew up resenting the sport a bit. I was a gymnast for about 9 years competitively, so I went up pretty high in that, and I thought that that was what I was going to do. Then I had a career-ending injury, and that basically kind of left me on the drawing board of what to do next. So I started pole vaulting, and I've been doing it for 8 years since, and I have never looked back.
Same question, Karina. Just what was your background growing up in sports?
I was a gymnast as well, and then when my family moved to Florida, I had a bit of a bad back, so I just decided to quit because it was just better and too much pain when doing gymnastics. So then my mom put my sister in cross country and told me that I should try it as well. And I absolutely hated it. I walked the rakes and cried the entire time. I was like, I cannot do this. And then the distance coach decided that he had seen a YouTube video on how to pole vault or coach it. So he was like, you should come try this. And so I tried it and then realized I actually loved the sport so much. And so that my parents found me someone who actually knew how to coach the sport rather than a distance coach who had seen a YouTube video.
Sounds like me running my one and only 5K, just crying on the course. Before we wrap up for both coaches, I'll let you go, Coach. Just want to give you a chance to talk to us about your coaching staff and what they mean to you, kind of behind the scenes or overseas.
I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for my staff. So kudos to them. Maybe they should be sitting up here one day, taking some heat off of me. But no, without them, I wouldn't have what I have right now and the success, and wouldn't have the athletes that we have on the team. So can't say enough about them. Usually I'm the one that gets the recognition, but usually as soon as it comes back to team camp, I give it straight to them because they're the ones that do it. I just drive the vans and pay the bills.
Same thing for you, Coach. Is anybody you want to talk about that helps you out with your staff?
My assistant coach, her name is also Ayana Lynch. She cheered for me. She's been my assistant coach for 2 years, I do believe, and I didn't have a coach assistant before that, so I was pretty much doing everything on my own, and I'm extremely grateful for her because she does a lot for us. Just so much I can't even name it, and it just helps me be not as stressed as I was at one point in time. But she's just a great assistant coach, and she has good ideas, and she just is very helpful. But also in the athletic staff, Christina Chow, she was pretty much our liaison this year, and she was always there, always asking questions. Do I need anything? And it's nice to have that type of support along with Miss Andrea and Dick Christie. It's just, I've been places where we have athletic directors and staff that does not support us and doesn't really, care about cheerleading or care about dance, and it's tough when you're dealing with that, but it's always nice to know that I can walk in that front office and I have people up there that I can talk to or I can ask questions or that are there to support us and want us to be at things and, try to give my athletes the same experience as all the other athletes on campus because they deserve better than everybody else. So it's nice to just not only have their support, but we have it all throughout the department. But those are probably the top people that pretty much put a lot into Spirit Squad and are always concerned with how we're doing and what we're doing and what the next step is and how to help us get there.
Before we let y'all get out of here, we're going to play a little game. Miss Andrea is going to bring you a whiteboard, a marker, and an eraser. So I'm going to give out some, basically yearbooks and superlatives, and we're going to try to match between coaches and athletes who best fits that superlative. So for you guys, you can just pick a male or female who you think best fits. You can just pick one that is the strongest candidate for the superlative. All right, so our first one, most likely to be on a reality TV show.
Just any athlete? Oh, on my team? Oh,
Oh God, nothing for sure.
And if you've got a story about any of these or why you're so convicted on picking this person, just let me know. You can have the mic and tell the story. Alright, so Spears, what we got? We got a match here. We got Savannah and Amaya. Alright, track and field. Let's see what we got. We've got a match with Trent and a Braylon Brooks. All right, go ahead and erase. Our next one will be best candidate for the CIA.
Oh, yeah, I got mine. I don't know. Don't do this because I feel like she's doing this to get.
All right, best candidate for the CIA. What we got, Track? Here we go. 3 matches. Christian Whiteside. We got Olivia and Kaylee. All right, this next is probably my favorite one. Most likely to win the lottery but lose the ticket.
Wait. I can't think of somebody. Win the lottery and lose the ticket. It ain't gonna be her.
All right, what we got? Spirit Squad. We got a match there. Track, what we got? Coach Eddie, taking strays. All right, our next one. Best person to be stranded on an island with.
Honestly, no. Okay. We see who I'm doing.
Let's see what we got. Coach Ayana and a Glow. Got 2 Trents and a Gay Blackwater. All right, the student athletes might have an advantage on this one because you probably with them more, but worst driver.
Say this. She never wins.
Track, what we got? I like coaches right here. And 2 Coach Kens and internationals. Wow. Come here and have to travel on the other side of the road. And we got a match here with Zoe. All right, a few more. Most likely to win American Idol.
I don't know that bad, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what because that's the first person I thought.
You didn't put me. You put me. Put you. I said put me. Put me. Like write me. Lord,
All right, most likely to win American Idol. Ayana and, oh, there we go. Stay tuned for a concert. And Track, we got not Coach. Is that due to lack of singing, or have you aged out of the contest?
Aged out.
Aged out.
All right, we'll wrap up with our last one. Most likely to sleep through an earthquake.
Yeah.
All right, sleep through an earthquake. We got the whole cross-country team in a match with Dawson. In a match here with Jake. All right, we got any fan questions out there? I see a couple Spirit Squad members. Anything you want to ask before we wrap up?
What's your favorite memory from this year?
My favorite memory? I thought you were gonna say my favorite memory.
Oh, I don't even know that one.
My favorite memory this year was when y'all finished your routine probably. And I watched that ending where y'all were like jumping up and down and the crowd and everything, and it felt good as a coach to see y'all not only do it, I guess, for me, but for yourselves, and because I know y'all were stressed and it was a stressful time before we went out there on the floor, but to know that y'all were excited in what you had done was probably the most fulfilling and exciting moment for me this season.
Great question, thank you. All right, anything else out there? All right, thanks for joining us for another edition of Winco Coaches Show. And enjoy your lunches. Go Braves.